Most people apply for Social Security retirement benefits when they become eligible at age 62 or soon after. For many, if not most, that can be a costly mistake. My guest is Peter Laliberte in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Peter, it's a pleasure. Welcome. Now, Social Security can be very complex. What are some common misconceptions people have?
Thanks for having me today, Scott. I appreciate that. That's a great question. I'm not so sure it's misconceptions so much as a lack of knowledge about what the government has in mind for retirement accounts. The thing about IRAs, for instance, 401ks, any of those accounts that folks count on for income, the biggest problem is they don't have a mechanism for income. But the government has a plan for that money. It's called required minimum distributions or a forced liquidation of your account over your lifetime. So the biggest challenge that I kind of see, Scott, is when folks come and see me and they say, hey, here's my 401k or here's my IRA, this is my pension. The reality is that even though those accounts were designed to replace pensions back in the 70s, there's no pension component to it. You have to manage it yourself. The required minimum distribution rules that kick in at age 70 and a half can be used to your advantage by using strategies that will, for instance, instead of taking what the government says you have to take, you can turn it into a lifetime stream of income and include your spouse, and that's all part of a process that requires some time and some effort.
Well, Peter, Social Security, as we've talked about, is very complex. Would it be safe to say that it is largely misunderstood by people and even most advisors?
Yeah, I agree. We do a lot of Social Security planning and workshops, probably more than anyone in the state of Florida. And the 2015 budget that was just passed, that we haven't even read yet, which is kind of interesting, but it does have some, it does make some significant changes to Social Security, but it's not as big a deal as people are making out, or some advisors out there are trying to scare people into thinking, boy, Social Security is gone, it's changed forever. It's not the case. There were a couple of minor changes that are going to affect some people. We have some white papers on it. Anyone can call our office and get that. We have some new workshops designed to show folks what strategies are still available. But it's not time to panic. There are changes, but it's not going anywhere. Social Security is not broke, despite what everyone says. It's not broke yet. It's broken, but it can be fixed. So these changes aren't going to affect a whole lot of people in a very significant way, and we can find ways around that to come up with a great strategy.
Now, studies show that 40% of Americans will depend on Social Security for most of their retirement. News reports talk about a retirement crisis. What do you think? Well,
there is a lot of truth to that. A lot of people haven't saved enough. For the most part, though, the people that we work with, the great generation, right? It's the boomers and the younger folks who are having more trouble saving. We generally work with people who have saved. They just don't know what to do. And it's kind of interesting because I've built my career on income planning, and I've studied dozens of books from some of the experts. And what study I just read was that if a retirement plan has a 60% chance of success, that your average advisor will implement that plan, that's good enough, right? 60% chance, which leaves a 40% chance of what we call portfolio failure, which means running out of money. That's why you see people who are 85, 90, 95, they live on Social Security and they have nothing else because they didn't have a plan and they outlived their assets. So our process, the Liberty Formula, which is a proprietary, logical and precise process for retirement planning, we need to take control of retirement. And we're able to do that with 100% certainty. My clients don't want to guess. They don't want a 40% chance of failure. They don't want a 1% chance of failure. They want a 100% chance of success. And with the tools and strategies that are available today to retirees, better than we've ever had, as long as people have access to them, the knowledge, and know how to implement them, we can have a 100% chance of success in retirement virtually every time. So I think people, need to save more when they're younger. Certainly, there's not a lot of education out there for them, but there are strategies available to fix a broken portfolio.
Great, Peter. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me today.
That was Peter Laliberte in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. I'm Scott Drake. This is Retirement News Online.